Welcome all to my session. Today we are going to see about the reshaping, pivoting and cross tabulation. So first, what is mean by reshaping? Reshaping and pivoting are the fundamental data manipulation techniques used to transform data sets between long and wide formats for better analysis. So this is the manipulation of transforming the data sets between, if it is long it will be transformed to wide, and if it is wide it will be transformed to long. And these methods allow you to restructure tables by moving values from rows to columns, aggregating data, or even unpivoting can be done. Okay, wide tables back into a tidy list. So this is done in this reshaping and pivoting. So first we will see what is reshaping alone. It is a process of changing the structure or layout of a data set without changing the actual data values. Without changing the data values, only the structure, okay, only the structure or layout alone will be changed. So it helps organize the data into a format suitable for. So why it is changed means it will be very useful, and it will be very suitable for analysis and better visualization and also machine learning. So what are the types of reshaping? There are two types basically, wide format and the long format. So wide format means the width will be more. So it consisting of more columns. The number of columns will be more. Automatically it will increase the width. And another type is a long format. So long format means the length will be more. It means that number of rows will be more in this type. So this is an example. For wide format, there is a table with the data of student and their subjects like math, science, English, and it is going on in the wider length. And in the long format, the same table is converted to the long format, like only 3 columns are there: student, subject and marks. And in the student it will be repeated for each and every subject: math, science and English. Student named A, how many marks they scored, that will be displayed here. Reshaping techniques in pandas. So in the reshaping techniques, other than the basic techniques like wide and long format, there are many other techniques like stacking, unstacking, pivot table, melt, cross tabulation. These are the few types of the reshaping. So first we will see one by one. So stacking, what does mean by stacking? Stack rotates from any particular column in the data to the rows. So it means that it will be changing from a column to the rows. So stack function converts columns into rows simply. It compresses the data frame by moving column tables into row index. So the syntax for this is data frame dot stack, any data frame name dot stack function. So this is an example. So let us consider a table. So before stacking, we have just given a data frame values like panda pd dot data frame, and we have inputted the values like math and its marks 80, 75 and size 80, science of 85 and 88, and index, and we have closed it, and index equal to Alice and Bob. So index means whatever data given in the index will be entered in the first column, that is the index column. So for the giving names, instead of names we have given as an index value. The output will be like this. So Alice and Bob came to the first column, and math and science and their marks are splitted like this: 80, 75 and 85, 80. And now see, after stacking, so what does it means? After stacking, so we have inputted now stack function, stacked equal to, and after giving a stack function, the changed value will be stored in a new data frame, that is a stacked. So print stack, now we are printing the stacked new value. So whenever the stack function is given, it will automatically change the wider format into the longer format. So now see, the output is Alice, Bob, and Alice consists of math and science 80, 85, and repeatedly Bob also consists of another 2 subjects with 88. Next is unstacking. So automatically unstack means it is a reverse of the stack. So it converts rows into columns and it is a reverse operation of stack, and the syntax is just data frame dot unstack. Now we are assigning the new unstacked value to the new data frame unstacked, and we are printing the print unstacked value. So it will be changing back to the first format, like the column, two columns and two rows. Next method is a pivot. So what does mean by pivot? Pivot converts data from long format to wide format, and it rearranges rows into columns. Okay, in the first method it arranges stack columns to rows, and now in pivot method it rearranges rows into columns. So duplicate values are not allowed in this pivot method. So what is the syntax means? Data frame dot pivot of index, columns and values. You have to mention three arguments like index value, column name and the values. So this is an example. We are just taking a new data frame, whatever name you can mention here. So y data frame equal to long data frame dot pivot. That is a first data frame, long data frame of index value, student, subject and value, and we are printing the y new data frame. So the result will be like this: subject, student, subject will be English, math, science, and student will be like this. Okay. So index value, columns and values, everything is done here. And next is a melt. So what does melt means? It converts data from wide format to long format, and it is again a opposite. So multiple columns are transformed into rows, and useful for preparing data for visualizing data and analysis. And the syntax is pd.melt of data frame, and then id variables, variable name and value name, everything should be given in the melt function. So pd.melt of df, so first data frame should be given, what data frame is used, and then id variables, where's equal to student, and then var name you have to mention anything like subject, and value name equal to marks. So it will be displayed like this: student, subject and marks. Next method is a pivot table. So this is very important concept. Pivot table creates a summary table by applying an aggregation function. So in this pivot table, more aggregation functions are mentioned here, like mean, sum, count, max, min. Okay, so unlike pivot, it handles duplicate values, but in the pivot method duplicate values are not handled, and in the pivot table method duplicate values are handled. First we will see the